open, that would be great. We're gonna do an example of placing lights today. Yes, we got through all the presentations last time. And I'm going to basically give you an example of how we place lights. Once again, I'm recording this, so it'll be uploaded today, hopefully. I just need the screen to turn on. And I need to set the screen so you can see it. Okay. Okay, so you probably have something like this. Okay, your areas may be laid out differently. Like I've said, this is not, I don't think these are the most fabulously laid out areas. But my areas are laid out, they're in red circles. I have focus points. I have gone through and I've put in basic focus points for my areas, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. I have put in that I know I'm going to need some lights for the alcove 1 and alcove 2. I've put in some focus points for my house lights. I've put in a focus point at the desk, the 2 benches, and the seat. And if I discover I need more focus points, am I allowed to add more as I go through this? Absolutely. If I discover that, oh my gosh, this focus point's in the wrong place, is that a problem? Nope, we'll just move it, okay? You are not committed to anything yet, okay? I also put in focus points for the doors because I personally always put extra lights on doors because actors like to stand in them. And that can be just a lovely thing. Welcome, Jeff. Go ahead and get your Vectorworks file open. Okay, we're now going to go through the process of putting in and selecting a light. This is a lot of trial and error. The more practice you have, the less trial and error you have to do. Okay? I am going to deliberately make bad choices this morning. Okay? I am saying that out loud so that none of you go, oh my gosh, how many times does it take before you get the right light? I know. Okay? Okay, so a couple of things that I want to be able to see at this point. Okay? I personally want to be on the lighting class because this is lighting. I want to be on my instrument or lighting layer. I want to be on my instrument class because that's the class I have decided to put my instruments on. Does it have to be where you put your instruments? No, you can put your instruments on a class called Sage, even if your name is Hannah. Okay, whatever you want, it's up to you. Okay, a couple of other things that I really need to see to make this work. I need to see the pipes on the grid, and I like to see the truss, the I-beams that will block the lights, because now would be a good time to discover if my lights block anything. What I am going to do to make this a little bit easier on my brain is I'm going to go back to my layer settings, and I'm going to set my my layer of scenery, not to off, but to gray, and my seating to gray. I can still see what's there, but it's not as prominent. I find it's a little easier on my eyes. If you are like, no, I want to see all the black lines intersecting each other, great. Okay, that's not a problem. These are just some things I do to make my life a little bit easier. Okay. Like I said, I like to start usually with my downstage center area. Do I have a downstage center area? Nope. So I'm going to start with area B. Okay. Where should you start? You should start either in what's the most important area for you to light or what you think is going to be the easiest to light. Okay? How do you know? You make a guess. If you can't decide, start with area letter A. You can just be systematic about it. Okay? I'm going to consult my schematic diagram. And, okay, I don't actually have one here because this is my show to design. It's your show. But I'm going to decide that what I have is I've got 3 front lights. Okay, and I've got a front light that's supposed to be kind of coming in vaguely from the direction of each of the 3 banks of seating. So I'm going to start with the center one first. Okay, I just think that's going to be nice and easy. Make sure you have your tool sets palette opened. If you don't, I'll close it to show you how to get to it. Window, palettes, tool sets, and select the lighting one. Okay, it's got a little picture of a par or a Fresnel on it. If you do not have that as an option, okay, hopefully you do, but if you do not, go to Tools, Workspaces, and select Spotlight. But all the computers in here should already be set correctly. Only those who are using a laptop may discover that they're not. Okay? And is everyone at least up to this point with me? Almost. Okay. Yes, Sage.
Did you turn off scenery or did you just make it gray?
I just made it gray. I made it gray because that makes it a little less distracting on my screen. I like to have it on because it's still something we're looking at.
Accidentally pressed the X.
Okay, and that's great. And I certainly, it would not be unusual for me to turn the seating off at this point. I'm leaving it on, but
The scenery.
right. But I said scenery I would put in gray at this moment.
Oh.
I wouldn't object to turning the seating off at this moment because it's not what I'm lighting.
Okay.
But these are just things you can do to make your life easier. There's a lot of information on the screen, right? Okay, and we're going to do something a little bit backwards. I'm going to place one light, show you how to do some things with it, and then we're going to back up to a step that you actually would have rather done first. But it won't make sense till we do this step. So, okay. Make sure your spotlight is selected and you've got your tool sets open. And the top thing in your tool sets list is lighting instrument tool. It inserts a lighting instrument, okay? We're going to click that, and immediately we get some pop-up menus up at the top of the screen, okay? And the one we want to look at is instrument symbol. Select an instrument symbol. You are going to have many of the available symbols for your shows, for this show, in the drop-down menu called Imaginary Invalid. Why? Because I was lazy and built this off of Mousetrap. So any light I used in Mousetrap happens to be in here already. Woohoo. What I want to remind you is if you pop over to our Canvas page, I'm going to back up one page, to the front page of Canvas, and you scroll down to Inventory of Lighting Instruments for Imaginary Invalid, you have the list of what lights we have. And while you're working today, I'll put that up on the screen so you can see it and you're not bouncing back and forth. Okay? But this has the counts of everything. And we'll take a quick moment to look at this. So we have ETC Source 4 ERSs. We've got a lot of them. Notice it says there are 60 bodies and the lens tubes are separate. One of the cool things about Source 4s is that any Source 4 body can take any Source 4 lens tube. Which means the theater has bought 60 bodies, but they have well over 60 lens tubes. So that designers like me who use the really small lens tubes all the time, I'm not going to run out of small ones. Meanwhile, other designers, I don't know who to cite as an example at the moment, who use the really large lens tubes all the time are going to be like, oh, I've got plenty of stuff as well. Right? So when we're doing our instrument counts, we have to make sure that we don't exceed our lens tubes or our bodies. We also have Source 4 pars. And notice that it says there are 20 pars and it says that lenses are available for each. So you have all those lens choices for all of them. L&E par 64s, Altman for 8-inch Fresnels, and then our moving lights. There were not a lot of moving lights used in Mousetrap, so I'll have to show you how to get to those in a few minutes. Okay? But they're there, they're built into Vectorworks. They're just not as convenient. No, don't save. Okay, so I need to select an instrument symbol. Vectorworks is a lovely piece of software, but it's stupid. It will let me select a chair as a lighting instrument. Chairs will not light up. Okay? I know. It's crushing. Actually, it looks like almost everything you're going to need is in here. I'm going to say, I don't know what I need. I'm doing front light. Anyone have an idea? Do you think I want a Fresnel, an ERS, or a par for my front light? Par? Okay. We'll go with par. We'll try a par. I'm going to try a par WFL. That's going to be wide flood. That's the widest par we have. Or I could try a Source 4 par. I'll go with a regular par first. Okay, I'm going to I click on it. I select it. Now you're going to notice this says Altman par, not LNE par. Sad news, ladies and gentlemen. Vectorworks does not have LNE pars built into it. Good news is the stats for a LNE par and an Altman par and any other brand of par are freaking identical. Okay, because the magic of a par is in the lamp, not the instrument. Okay, so I'm going to select that. Okay, if you notice, I've now got something that looks like a par hanging around my my mouse. And I said I want to do the straight on front light first, so I'm going to put it in here. Remember I said yesterday, or last class, that we want to generally hang lights no closer than every 18 inches? These little hash marks on our pipes are every 18 inches. I set that up for you. That's convenient. Do you have to hang on a hash mark? No. But it's just a quick little indication. Yes, Hannah?
My seats are above the pipes. Like, not as if I were to, like, turn it into 3D, but, like, they're on top of them if I would.
Just turn them off. Yes.
I can't get to the tool set.
Okay. Show you again. Window, palettes, and tool sets.
Oh, thank you.
Great. Okay. So I'm doing area B. I said I was going to start with area B. I want to do a straight on front light. I'm going to put this par here and I'm going to see what it does. I'm going to click on it the first time. That's going to attach it to the pipe. Make sure you click on the pipe. It's now attached to the pipe. Now I want to point the light vaguely in the right direction. This is not focusing the light. There's another command that's going to do this. Generally, I like to design or like to draw my lights on the pipe either pointing straight up, straight down, straight left, or straight right. I think it looks neater. Some other designers also say they'll do the 45 degrees. Okay, this is our symbol so that when people are hanging the light, it all looks nice on the light plot. Okay, I'll show you how we actually focus it in a moment. Okay, I'm going to click the light there. I click to show it. My light is there. It's for area B. I'm going to need to tell it that. So what I need is my object info palette. Okay, if it's not open, window, palettes, object info, mine happens to be open, so it's here. And we can see that it is a lighting device. It is on the class called instruments. It's on the layer called lighting. Okay, we're going to scroll down and we can put some. Yes, Hannah.
I deselected mine by accident.
So select it again.
On it and it won't let me select it. Oh, I know why. I'm on speed. I'll do it.
Okay, great. I love it when I don't have to answer the questions. Okay. Some things you should fill in. I like to fill in the purpose of the light because especially as I'm working on a light plot, I will sometimes forget what the heck is that light doing there. Okay, so that is my straight front light, or I'm going to call it front light 2. Okay, notice position is already filled in. It's on pipe 4 because it's on pipe 4. Okay, Vectorworks will do that for you. Vectorworks is usually right. Vectorworks is sometimes wrong, and you do sometimes have to override Vectorworks. Unit number, don't fill in. I'll show you at the end of the day how we get unit numbers filled in. Color. If I have my color key done, I know what color that's going to be. Jeff, pick a color.
Orange.
Orange.
Hang on just a second.
Okay.
I don't have that piece of paper.
You don't have the piece of paper. Anyone have their color key out?
No, it's R4615.
R4615. Great. Okay, I'm going to fill that in. The master electrician fills in dimmer. We don't, so we can skip that for now. Channel number. How would I get the channel number? Who picks the channel number? We do, okay? So this is my center front light. It's my front light wash 2. And it's area B, so that means it's going to end in 2 in my system because area A will end in 1, B will end in 2. So I'm going to say this is 22. Okay. Again, you have done your rough hookup, hopefully, or you've at least tentatively assigned numbers. Okay. If you haven't, before you get to this step, do some tentative assigning of numbers. It'll make your life easier. Address, because it's a dimmer, don't worry about that now. Universe, UAddress, don't worry about that. Circuit name, circuit number, don't worry about that. We're going to keep going. User-defined field. Okay, user-defined field has no meaning. It's something that you need to put in there if you want something. You have 6 of those. I never use them, but they're there. But you can leave notes to yourself like, if you have to, cut this light or something, whatever you want to do. Okay, I just want to kind of show you this. voltage, I'm surprised it doesn't fill it in, but that's fine. Cost, if you have to rent lights, you can actually fill that in, and Vectorworks will calculate the cost of your rentals for you. Okay, it's free because it's on our inventory. Frame size is filled in, that's what size gel it takes. Beam angle, field angle, those are all filled in already. Isn't that awesome? The weight, in case you want to know how much it weighs 8 pounds. Okay. Notice gobo rotation. Can PARs take gobos? No. Vectorworks treats all lights the same. So you have to be smart enough to know I can't put a gobo in this light. Show beam at focus point. Your options here are show beam at the fall off point or at the focus point. Focus point is best. That's where we're trying to light the actor. Okay.
Chris, I'm trying to pull it up, and I've been listening to all this. But the object info window. How do I open that?
Window, palettes, object info. Got it?
Yep.
Excellent. Okay. So with a PAR, these next couple things are going to become important. Lamp rotation. Remember, our PARs are an oval beam, so we can rotate the lamp inside. That'll change the shape of the beam. So we can actually simulate that in here. We'll look at that in a moment. Shutters. Remember, does shutter make a difference in a... No, we don't have shutters. We do have barn doors, so we could kind of use the shutters to simulate barn doors if we need to. Okay? Symbol name, that's filled in automatically. Use legend. We will do that in a few moments, but we'll get back to that.
It says basic. Should I change that or leave it?
You can leave it. I'm going to show you how to build your own in a moment. Okay? But the next thing we're going to do is focus. Okay? Focus is where is this light pointing? What we fill in there is the focus point at which it is pointing. And Vectorworks is picky. The capitalization has to be the same. It has to be spelled the same. So if you named your focus points downstage left, you got to type it exactly the way you typed your focus points. Hence why I'm really fond of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, etc. as focus point names because I can't spell those wrong. Okay, oops, sorry. Focus point B. Okay, it's in there. I'm going to scroll back up, and up here, draw beam was grayed out before. We couldn't have selected it, but we can now because we put a focus point name in it. I'm going to click that, and oh my, look, there it is. There is what my beam of light looks like out of that PAR.
Mine's still grayed out.
Did you fill in a focus point?
Yeah.
Did you fill in a focus point that exists?
Yeah. I need to click off of it.
You may need to click out of the focus point. Did that work? Excellent. Okay. So just so you can show, I can show you with the lamp rotation. If I rotate the lamp 90 degrees, it resimulates what that looks like. Okay. I'm going to go put it back. Okay. So there is that's what my beam looks like. Now, the reason we drew in our circles is that's the size area we want to fill. So I'm at least filling my area. That's good. But I'm filling a lot more than I need to be, which means my beam is probably too big, and therefore it's going to be too dim. But before we go looking and arguing about that, I also want to make sure that this light is not hitting any of these I-beams. Here's how I can figure out if my light is hitting the I-beams. Going up here where it says top plan, if I go to front view, I can look and say, oh look, my beam of light does not hit the I-beams. Okay, because the ones that are square, and you can also look at this in 3D if you want to look at it in 3D. I just hid my other palette there. My basic palette will let me look at this in 3D. Okay, and I can move around and say, yep, I'm not hitting anything. And I can look from the side, and I'm just going to do this by a standard view, look at it from the left. And I am missing the I-beams that go towards me. And excellent, that means this light won't hit any obstructions. The other thing I can look at is, do I like the angle this light is at coming at an actor? My first thought on that is it's awfully steep. My actor is going to be totally shaded under the chin because that's coming almost straight down on them. So I may not like that very much, okay? And my beam's a little big. So we've got some things to work on with this light. So let's go work on them, okay? We've looked at this. We're like, okay, this lets me know what we're doing. Lets me know what we're doing. Don't quite like it yet. Is that okay? Do you have to be right the first time? You do not have to be right the first time. I'm going to go back to my top plan view because I find top plan view is the easiest view to be working in. Okay, so that angle's a little steep, so I want to move the light. Okay, I'm going to grab the light just with my selection tool. I'm just going to grab it and move it back a pipe. Now it's still way too big. Still way too big. That didn't solve. In fact, the fact that I'm farther away is going to make it way too bigger, right? Because inverse square law. But let me see if I like that angle better. Okay. So I'm again going to go to my side view, my left view here, and I'm going to look at that and I'm going to go, well, that's going to, they're still going to have a little bit of a shadow under their chin, but not so much. This isn't bad. That's not a bad place for that light. Okay. I like that. If you don't like it, keep moving it. Play with it. Okay. I do see if I zoom in here really close. Oh my gosh, am I just missing that? I am just missing that I-beam. That's totally accidental. I was going to say you have to check and see if you're missing I-beam. Yes.
Mine isn't snapping to the new pipe.
Let's make sure your snaps are turned on. Window, palettes, snapping. Yes? Okay. And then your snapping palette looks like this. And you want to make sure that the snap to object is on. It is? Move it off and move it back on. Did that work? The other thing, make sure in navigation you've got show snap others on. And you have that on both layers and classes.
On lighting and
Okay.
on all of them.
Okay, it's on all of them. For both layers and classes, show snap. Okay. And you were in top plan view when you did it? Try moving it off, zoom in closer, and put it back.
Yeah, I did that.
Okay. If that doesn't work, then you just delete the light and you draw it again. And you insert it again.
So then I just put all the
Then you just put all the information back in. So you can just watch for a moment. You can put it back because you'll be able to see the next thing we're going to do, okay? So if I like that position, we can say I'm good. Now, that beam is too big, okay? And you know what I realized? I want to be able to shutter cut so I don't have spill off the edge of the stage. I want my lights to end right at the edge of the flooring. So if I want to put shutter cuts in, what kind of light do I need? A what? An ERS. And what kind of ERSs do we have on the show?
36.
Well, we've got source 4 ERSs. We've got a whole variety of them. Okay, so Hannah, see if you put your light back and if it'll snap to the pipe it was on originally.
Yeah, I did Command Z.
Okay, great. Okay, so I want to replace my lighting device because the PAR is not working for me. Okay, so I'm going to click in my object info, replace lighting device. And I get my same pop-up window up, and I'm going to look through here and see if I can find something that's a better choice. I do want shutter cut, so I am going to do an ERS. I'm going to try the ERS 50 degree. Yes, Sage.
Where did you see replace lighting devices? I see you replace with active symbol.
Sorry, you've got a slightly older version. Yes, replace with active symbol is what it.
If it's not like that anymore.
Right, because you don't have another active symbol. Let me come over there and quickly look at it. Okay, what you need to do is you need your resource browser. Okay, if you're doing this on the computers in here, not when you download it, I'll go to Window Palettes, Resource Browser, Resource Manager. Go up to where it says Open Files Imaginary Invalid. Make sure that's selected. Scroll down in that until you find another lighting device. Double click on, say, source 450 degree. Okay. Click OK. And now replace with active symbol.
I'm having trouble finding the
Resource, there you go. You found it.
But then
Click on it. There it is. We've got several different versions of the software running in the room. If you can't find something close, if you can't find what I'm specifically saying, raise your hand and ask if you've got something that looks like it's close to the right command. Yes.
Which version are we supposed to be using?
Anything 2020 back to 2015. Okay. I can only be running one version on my computer at a time. Today, that is 2019. On Monday, that will be 2020 because I'm starting my next show. And I tend to update before I start on a show.
Because I'm having trouble opening what I save at home.
So these are, the ones in here are 2017, so you'll need to back save. If you want, I can open your file, back save it, and then give it right back to you.
But when I do it at home, I have to back save?
Yeah. So file, well, it's not going to, hold on. Let me show you how to do it. File, export, and then export as Vectorworks. And this room is 2017. Okay? It will hopefully be 2020 by September. But I didn't get the request in to update this in time, and they don't like to, understandably, update computer labs in the middle of the semester. So yes, you can actually work. I can open anything 2012 and beyond. So I don't care what you're working in. If you're, the reason I like to be open is if you have an older computer that's not comfortable running the most current version, the older versions are less resource intensive. So, okay. So, replace lighting device or replace with active symbol. Like I said, I'm going to do a 50 degree. And yes, the workflow is a little different. If you've got the new one, you hit the replace button, and then you select the instrument. On the other one, you go to the resource browser, double click what you want it to be, and then hit replace. Okay, I have replaced it. Notice the second I replaced it, it drew a new beam for me. Okay. Oh wow, that was not a bad choice. Not a great choice, but not a bad choice. Okay, the 50 degree looks pretty good. Okay.
Can you repeat what you said about replace?
Oh, so resource browser, double click on what you want to replace it with in the resource browser. And then in object info, click replace with active symbol. Okay. I will tell you, I was very grumpy when that workflow changed, and now I'm really fond of the revised workflow. Okay. 50 degree doesn't look bad. My advice is when you find one that looks pretty good, still keep trying a couple other ones because you may find one that looks better. I'm going to just try a 36 degree here. And my 36 degree circle is just a little bit small. Yeah. If I was going to keep that, if I really want to say as a 36 degree, I would probably move the light, or I would go with the 50 degree. I would really love something in between there, but ETC does not make anything between a 36 and a 50. So I don't have a choice. I wish they made a 46 or a 45, but they don't. Okay. Great. I'm going to assume I like that. The next thing to do is, remember we have all that information that goes around the light, the unit number, the channel, the color. Now, if you wanted, you could type all that information in individually on the light using the text command. Remember, you use the text command when you put your name on your very first assignment. However, there's a better way to do it. And to do that better way, we are going to go up to the Spotlight menu, and we're going to go down to Label Legend, and then select Label Legend Manager. Apparently the one I uploaded did not get cleaned out, so you probably have one in there called Basic. Okay? Basic is the one I built. Basic is fine, but I'm going to show you how to build your own so that you can do exactly what you want. Okay, so you're going to click Add. The first thing you do is name it, okay? You can name it Sage's Awesome Label Legend. Or you can name it Devin's Dandy Version. Or you can just label it, you can call it Label Legend 1. I don't care. But you do have to name it. Naming it is very important. I'm going to call mine Bob. Okay? Next, we have to figure out what information we want to appear in the label legend. Once again, the awesome part about Vectorworks is you are not committed to anything at this moment. We're going to put stuff in. If later on you go, ooh, bad idea, you can change it. Okay? Here is what you must select. You must select unit number and channel. Those are what industry standard says. Those are the two things you must have on the light plot. Okay? Most people will also put color on. I put on, and I'll show you one of the great things about this is that you can turn stuff on for yourself and then turn them off later. I turn focus on for me. Not that I actually ever let that appear on the drawing when it's printed, but I like not having to select the light to know where it's pointed. Okay. Some people, one of my good friends turns on purpose, puts purpose in this while they're working, and then magically makes it vanish before they print out the light plot. Okay. I also tend to put Gobo 1 in. And I used to always put in dimmer, and I'm changing to putting in address. The other thing that's pretty standard is that address appears in a circle. So you come over to container type, and you keep clicking it until it says circle. And channel typically appears in a hexagon. You have to keep clicking it. And you can find other shapes. It doesn't matter what you do as long as you're consistent. Okay? That's why it is drawn on the plot. Okay? Okay, I've got that here. And you can obviously select any one of these 76 different fields or all of them. All of them is going to put so much information around the light you won't be able to see it. But you can select whatever it is you want. And I used to think, why, oh, why would anyone ever want to select some of this stuff? And I'm like, okay, I don't know why. But I'm really glad that I can. Okay? Okay. Right. And you don't need it. I do not click non-rotating usually. So you don't need anything. You can pre-select your font. You probably do not have Bradley Hand. That's one I bought. And I actually really like Architect's Daughter for this. So I'm going to set it to Architect's Daughter. You can set it to whatever font you like. And are you committed? No, because you can change your mind later. Okay. I'm going to set it to an 8-point font. Okay. Great. Okay. And I'm going to set that to center. Again, you don't have to do any of this stuff. You can change it all later. Click OK. And nothing happened, which is correct. Except now I have, if you go, did it take you back to Label Legend Manager? If it didn't open up Label Legend Manager again, different versions of Vectorworks, it sometimes just takes you out, sometimes it takes you back. First thing you want to do next to the one you just created, put a check mark next to it. That's active. That will automatically assign that to every new light you create, which is convenient because it's the one you've set up. The next thing we need to do is, oh, whoops. Okay, I got to edit. We need to edit the 2D layout. If you are on some versions, you can just edit layout because it doesn't work in 3D at all. Okay, so edit 2D layout or edit.
It's making me change.
Yep. So click OK. It's saying please do. Oh. Yeah, it's not showing the test instrument. Set to show snap modify.
So for me, I don't have an option for edit 2D.
Do you have edit layout? That's the one you want. Your version doesn't have a 3D layout, so it didn't need edit 2D versus edit 3D. Okay.
I have the picture.
Good. How many of you got the picture of the light? Fantastic. You also didn't get the picture of the light? Or did you?
I was messing with this. I wasn't
Okay. Who is doing it on their laptop? Did you get the picture of the light? Okay. There is a bug. And it's a bug, and I don't know why the light doesn't show up. I'm going to talk you through how to do this. You have to imagine a little lighting symbol. Okay? Typically what I do, and those of you who have the lighting symbol, this makes it really easy. You now need to drag all of these names off to the side over onto your lighting symbol. Turn on none. Those of you who don't have a lighting symbol, turn on the class labeled none. And the lighting symbol will show up. I remembered it was one of these things that was over here. Okay. Unit number typically goes right in the darn center of the light. Color, I usually put the color at the nose of the light because, well, frankly, that's where you put the gel. I put the gobo inside the light because that's where the gobo goes. And occasionally my snaps are being annoying. Did you change your class options to show snap modify? Nope, that's what that little pop-up meant. I know that I'm going to turn focus off and no one but me is ever going to see it. But I put it right beyond color. Control click for select. Okay. You want to grab the things that are in the circle with the word. You want to grab the circle and the word together. Actually, I want to grab those just channels at address. I want to grab just as they are, and I put them just at the butt of the light. Okay. Now, the cool thing is we have set up this label legend, which I have called Bob, and you've called whatever you wanted to call it. If I come back and I make changes to the label legend layout, to what fields are there, what fonts are there, anything, it will automatically update all the lights I have put in already. Okay, that is what is so powerful and so convenient. Okay, so as soon as I'm done with this, I want to click exit symbol. And I want to go turn off my show snap modify. I want to just turn that back to show snap. I want to come down to this light, and in my object info, it says use legend. If it has a drop-down menu, you can select the one you just picked. If it is blank, you have to type in your label legend name exactly the way it is typed in before because Vectorworks is really, really picky. Okay. I put that in, and now look around my light. It says it is channel 22. It is Roscoe 4615, and it's focused on area B. Isn't that awesome? Okay. I now have this light set up. It is perfect. It is exactly how I want it. That is awesome. Okay. If you're not at your perfect stage yet, don't do other clicks, but I'm going to show you what I will do, what I would do next. I'm going to turn that on. Oh, you know what? That circle's still a little bit small. Fine. I'm going to make it back to a 50 degree. No, I'm not. I'm going to move it. I'm going to move it back here. Oh, look at that. That is almost the perfect width. It's a little too big that way, but that is almost perfect on my circle. I like that. Okay. You don't have to like it. You can change your mind. I like that. Okay. I should double check that as I move the light that I'm not hitting an I-beam. So we'll check from the left. I'm missing it. Check from the front. I'm missing it. And of course you can run around in 3D and look at things all you want. I'm going to go back to my top plan view. Woohoo, I like this. Now I can look at this and I can say, turn my draw beam off. This light is perfect for area B. So for area C, it's going to be the same type of light, correct? So I can just do lighting instrument insert. I was a 36 degree. And I'm going to just go and say, okay, there's about about 6 feet in between my areas. So about 6 feet, and I put this on here, and I click it in, pop over to my object info. And I'm going to show you another way to do this. I like the object info box. It's open. It's what I find convenient to use. If I right click or control click on the light, I can, select, go to your selection tool, which the shortcut is X, and then control click on the light. Do I double click on it? I should get an edit instrument. Are any of you right clicking and do you have an option for edit instrument? That's what I get for showing you something I never use. Huh? Edit light. Great. That's what you want.
Edit light is what you want?
Yeah. Anyway, if you have it, pop it up, look at it. It's all it does is the same information that's in the object info palette. It's just another layout. And I can't get it to work, and I really don't care because I never use it. I just fill everything in the object info palette. I just wanted to show you that alternate version in case you like it better. I swear the edit light function didn't go away.
My light isn't coming up as a symbol, it's just coming up as a light.
Did you use Did you use lighting instrument insert tool, or did you double click on it and then click on the page?
It's the one that was already there. The one that I posted.
You want to be in top plan view though.
Okay.
Okay, but you have all your stuff here. Okay.
This thing, does it come up as you?
Select if your none class is turned off. Turn your none class back on.
But he hasn't made one yet.
Okay. I'll show you in a minute. Let me keep moving forward. Okay. Okay. Well, never mind about me showing you the alternate way to do it, since it apparently doesn't exist in my version anymore, which means it won't exist if you ever update. So don't worry about it. You can fill all the information in on your object info. So this is my next light. It is also front light wash 2. It should, same color, R4615. It is channel 21 because it's for area A. It doesn't have a gobo. Notice user legend Bob came up automatically because I had it selected. Focus is area A. And I can draw my beam and go, that looks good. Oh, maybe I need to check and make sure I'm not hitting an I-beam, which is what you spend a ton of time doing in I'm not hitting an I-beam. Woohoo! I feel like I spend half of my time in lighting in the black box going, am I hitting an I-beam or not? I'm not hitting an I-beam there either. Woohoo! Okay. And back down to my top plan view. Turn my beam off. And then I can go do areas C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, all of them. Okay? Do you guys see how once you get one light done, you can do your next 5 or 6 pretty quickly? Okay. Again, always check your beam. It takes a couple of seconds to check it in, plan view, making sure it's hitting the circle, front view and side view, making sure you're not hitting an I-beam. Okay. Are there questions up to that point? Yes, Sage.
So I've got my
To put another light in?
Yes.
Okay, so to put another light in, you're just going to go back to lighting instrument insertion tool. And that's going to put the light back on your mouse. And put it where you want your next light.
My light has little. The first light has like 2 dots, or a hexagon and a circle below it, and then now it doesn't.
Right, so the hexagon and the circle are your channel number and your address number. So those won't be there until the label legend is attached to it.
Okay, but
So
now
click.
they're not below the light; they're like at a different location. I have just put a light down, and they are right there.
Well, that's weird. I'll show you how to fix that. Hopefully it's just because that light is weird. Something's weird about that light at the moment. Everything is editable. So if you're, for whatever reason, your hexagon and circle are showing up not where you want them. And by the way, sometimes showing up correctly is also not where you want them, because if that's going to be on top of another light, you might want to move them. So to move them, for doing this, go to show stat modify others. Make sure that's turned on. So as I click on this, do you watch my mouse here? It's going to go from a pointer to a kind of diagonal slash. Click that and drag, and it will move that element of the extra information. I had to do this a fair bit on Mousetrap because, whoops, and you got to make sure your mouse has changed shape. Because I had this huge problem of my lights were packed in really, really tightly, and so I had to move all the information around so that on each light individually, so that it would be legible.
I'm trying to. I select the ones that is moving my light as well.
Okay.
There's no option for.
Oh, you get the light device. Scrambled eggs. This one's scrambled eggs. This one is basic. You see what happens when we set this one to scrambled eggs. So you have to pop back to your label legend manager because it is doing it correctly. Your label legend manager has it wrong. Spotlight, menu at the top, scroll down to label legend manager. And I'll help you in a second. Okay. This is all you need to do to build your light plot. I know that sounds really kind of flip and like, oh my gosh, that's it. But you've done your schematic diagrams. You've done your colors. You should be able to sit down and figure out where each light goes and put them on. And seriously, get yourself your list of all the lights you need to add and start checking them off. And you're going to find that this goes really fast. Okay. Oh my, I was hoping to give you guys more time to play today, but you have 10 minutes to keep doing some other stuff. I'm going to stop the recording and then I can help individual people on individual problems.
How do you delete the light?
Select it and then hit the delete key. Draw beam. It's a checkbox.